Okay, so manga. There are many different types of mangas. Romance, adventure, a mixture of many, many, many of them. Good examples of that might be Black Butler. It is comedy mixed with a little bit of tragedy or drama, I guess. Adventure. I'm not sure if I said that. And historical. So there is all that. Um, so it's a big mixture, but they just put it as fictional, historical fiction, because that is mainly what it is. So there's a good example of that. There's also romances, which would be, I guess, like your Ouran High School Host Club, Say I Love You, and such like that. They're mostly romances, but they're also comedies. Ouran High School Host Club is more of a comedy than Say I Love You is. Um, there's all that. They also have fiction, which would be like Blood Lad, which is also a adventure and a fiction and a, I don't even know. That's one of them you just had to read and figure out yourself. I'm very sorry. Um, then you just have your plain out comedies, which usually turn out to be either adventure or romances at some point, because you can't just keep on going on with comedy like you can on TV, you know? So you kind of have to pick. um, so there's that. There are ones that go on forever too, like your Naruto and One Piece and all that. They go on for so long. I have not read them, but I've seen them in the bookstore. They like take up a whole shelf, and that's just one of each book. Um, so you have those. Um, so I guess I'll give you some pointers on how to pick a manga. So how to pick a manga. How I pick my mangas is based on the art and the storyline. You can do it any way you want, but I'm going to tell you my way because I think it's the best. um, so I don't really care for the older types of the art form of manga, where it's more heavy lines, kind of more, I don't know if you say angular, but you kind of might know what I'm talking about. Where the chins are pointier, more diamond-like on the ends. I don't really care for those. Some of them are good, like Roni Kenshin, I think it is. I could never say that right. That's not one of them I really care for too often. I read it, but I'm not too big on the art, but I like the story. I usually read stuff that has the art form of like Black Butler or Ouran High School Host Club, stuff like that, where it's kind of more newer, rounder, more realistic in some ways. If you want really realistic, or more realistic in terms of manga, I would go with stuff like Death Note, because that is very more realistic in the way of drawing. So I would pick on that too, because if you can't stand art, you're not gonna get through it too far. Also choose on what you like. Like if you watch a lot of romances, you'll probably like romances in manga too. You know, so on and so forth, because you know you already like it. Um, Sometimes, like, I'm not a big, but I will say this. Okay, sorry, it got a little jumbled. Anyway, I'm not a big romance person, but I do really like Ouran High School Host Club, which is also a comedy, so I can't say, you know. But I watched and am kind of reading I Say I Love You, which is a full-on romance, which is also a slice of life. And it's so good. Oh my god, is it good. Anyway, so there's that. There is some comedy in Say I Love You, but it's not as funny as like Ouran High School Host Club is. So if you're looking for something more funny with romance, I would choose Ouran High School Host Club over Say I Love You. So there's that. Also, I would choose on how much you want to read and how good of a reader you are. I shouldn't say how good of a reader you are. How serious you want it to be. Like, I tried to read Death Note, which I love, but it's hard to get through. I didn't even get through the first book. I'm so sorry. It's very hard to get through. Kind of a harder read, not in terms of word rise, but just kind of hard to follow. So if you don't really like that kind of stuff, I'd try to stay away from that kind of stuff and go for the lighter side of everything, you know, like cuteness and everything. So there's that. And if you're wondering how you can preview this stuff, again, you can look it up online, which is a good way because it's free. Or another way to know about new manga that may come out is magazines. I know it sounds weird, but Otaku USA is my favorite. They have reviews, they tell you what it's about, but doesn't ruin it. It's very good. It lets you know if you want to read it, and they also give you previews of 2 mangas every time. That's how I got into Bloodlad and everything. So that is a very good way. Another way, like I told you, was the online reading. Read a couple of pages, see if you like it in the art form. It usually takes like a whole chapter to know if you would like the story, or chapter or 2. But yeah. Oh, and yaoi. If you do not know if the yaoi you are about to read is graphic, I would look it up on Google Images and skim through it real quick and exit out if you do not like what you see. Okay? If you do not know what yaoi is, it is male with male, I guess I should say. And there's fluff, and then there is hardcore. So there's that. You know, it's out there. You will hear a lot of it if you're just getting into the anime world. So that is all I have for you. I am sorry this is short, but I will get better at this.